Hey everybody, Kyle from Screams and Whispers here. Gonna do another product review looking at the Lampifier Model 111 Pro Concert Vocal Programmable Phantom Powered microphone. Now you want to say programmable microphone, and there are no controls on this mic. It has an internal processor as well as a lamp, hence the name Lampifier, that are used to process the signal and add warmth, character, clarity, and compression to that signal via essentially limiting and compression. Now you can open up the handle to this mic, get in there and reprogram it yourself. They provide instructions on how to do so and the pieces and parts necessary to do that if you wish to tailor the mic to a different purpose other than the factory set Pro Concert vocal setting. To let you hear the differences, I'm going to do a singing test post this initial intro that is just an SM58, my AKG D3800M, which has been my go-to mic for the last couple of years, and then the Lampifier. Same phrase sung through the exact same pre with no processing on it whatsoever. Lets you get an idea of what the differences are there. And then, since I've had the chance to use this microphone in a live scenario, both at rehearsals and at a show, I'll give you my impressions of the mic going from there, and let you know what advantages this has compared to other products on the market. Alright, enjoy the video.
Lord, mercy, mercy me. Lord, things ain't what they used to be. No, no, no. Lord, mercy, mercy me. Lord, things ain't what they used to be. No, no, no. Oh, mercy, mercy me. Oh, things ain't what they used to be. No, no, no.
Okay, so now you get to hear some singing demonstrations of the three different mics, and you get to hear for yourself the differences between those on just an unprocessed signal chain. Important to note, no settings were changed, just literally unplug and replug the mics as we went through that. And next we'll talk about my live impressions of the mic. So I want to give you my impressions of the microphone now from live use, because not everything's going to translate to this type of demonstration. So the thing that I found to be the biggest asset with this mic is the presence boost, along with how much it smooths out the dynamic range of the vocal. And I think I mean that more not necessarily in that smoothing out the dynamics themselves, but levels out the EQ, so your lows are rich, but your highs aren't too harsh. Your mids are sitting where they should, so that they cut through the mix. That's kind of the thing that I noticed the most with it. Lampifier does a really, really great job of minimizing plosives. I don't think there's any mic on earth that's going to completely minimize plosives unless you're going to run a pop filter in front of your dynamic mic on stage, and I don't know anybody that wants that look. Not a good look. But it does, I would say, reduce probably 90% of the plosive effect that you get that is a lot more present. I think you could really hear the plosives more on the AKG than you could the 58. But they were still there with the 58, much less present with the Lampifier. So that is something that it does very, very well. Output level. I mentioned that I didn't change anything setting-wise, in that I just kicked on phantom power for the Lampifier. And there was a distinct volume difference, actually gradually increasing as we went through the mics. The 58 had fairly low output in comparison to both other mics. The AKG was a step up output-wise, certainly from the 58. A lot more mid-range presence here, but definitely a bump up in output. and then the Lampifier a step up even farther in output. So that's another difference that you're going to notice. The next thing that I really noticed as I went through these is a clarity difference. And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with sort of the presence that the Lampifier enhances. The Lampifier kind of shifts, to me, doesn't really shift the vocal. The Lampifier to me sounds like me when I'm singing with no mic. And most singers, that's really kind of what we want to hear. But at the same time, it seems to smooth out the EQ range so that your lows are robust as they're amplified through your system. Your mids stay present and don't get washed out, and your highs don't get too shrill and harsh. If you listen back to the singing tracks with the 58, what you notice, number one, huge proximity effect. Number two, if you're eating the mic on a 58, you're gonna get pretty level. But if you're moving it all around, or you're gonna get a lot more proximity effect as you go across. And not only that, it seemed like the boost in range, or the peak in range on the mic, sat more in the low mids. And though your highs didn't get harsh or anything, your lows tended to get overbearing with no EQ applied. It's just straight through a Focusrite pre, and that's it. With the AKG, what you would get is very crisp highs, almost to a fault. Not a lot of support in the low end, but huge mid-range presence, extremely boosted mid-range. So if you're really wanting to cut and sit on top of a mix, you can get this. But at the same time, what you're going to find is you have a gain limit that is much lower threshold than some other mics before you're going to start feeding back and getting a lot of different stage issues with this. So that's my interpretation or my impression of how the mics sit with that. Now, from a performer standpoint, I'll tell you what I see with this, because I've used it in a couple of rehearsals and at a live show now. Vocal fatigue was the first thing that came to mind as being rectified a lot. We'll do a 2.5 hour rehearsal where I'm singing straight and singing the same song 12 times and running through high parts that we're having issues with as a band and trying to work through, and having to sing the same thing 100 times. I don't have to sing near as hard. I don't have to put as much force behind what I'm singing, because we are a rock band, and then things get loud and you want to cut and set above the mix and be heard. I don't have to struggle to do that when I'm using the Lampifier. It sits naturally above the music in the room very, very well and very, very articulately. I don't have to over-enunciate to make sure things are heard clearly. It really translates very well. The best way I can explain it is, my experience is, you get condenser-like performance out of a non-condenser mic, and without some of the brittleness that can come with a condenser mic. You get a good breathy quality with this. You definitely can hear the texture of a person's effort as they sing, how they take their breaths and things like that. So there is something to be said for learning some breathing techniques and getting out of the mic when you're doing certain things that you don't want to be heard. But at the same time, it also allows you a lot of options to impart that as a vocalist when you want, which I particularly love. So yeah, condenser-like performance out of a non-condenser mic. That's kind of my big impression of this. Number two, it's not just me that hears a difference. Though I noticed that I could sing longer, easier, and I felt like I could hear myself and I could articulate better. That was also apparent to my entire band. It was apparent to the sound guy at the show. It was apparent to fans and people listening that, you know, I got comments as I came off stage. Well, that's the best we've heard your vocal at a show. Like, we really could get, we came away with everything. We felt like we heard everything and could tell every emotion you were imparting with a lyric as it got sang. So that for me, huge. As a singer, that's what I want. I want that to translate to the audience very well, and I think Lampifier is going to help me do that going forward. I am not saying, number one, let's get this out of the way. I'm not affiliated with Lampifier in any way. I'm not an endorsee, so they're not endorsing me nor my band. They sent me this strictly for a review, and it is going to now be my microphone. I'm going to be using this live from this point on. And hopefully maybe I will garner some kind of relationship with the guys from Lampifier, because I think they're making a very innovative product. A couple things to note about the company, just so you guys are aware. Number one, they're not available in major retailers. You need to go to lampifier.com if you want to buy this. Online retail store right there on their website. You can purchase it. You can decide what configuration you want it factory preset to, and they'll send it to you in that configuration. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee policy. So if you get the mic and find that you don't like it, you're having trouble getting it to work gain-wise with the structure of the way that your PA is set up, or whatever the case may be, they're not going to ask a lot of questions. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Send it back. They'll give you your money back. So they were very very strongly worded that you know they don't believe in having somebody keep a product that's not going to work for them. That said, if you have a decent sound guy who knows what he's doing and can deal with something that's going to have a lot of headroom and doesn't require a lot of gain and knows how to do his job, this is going to actually end up making his job easier, and you are going to sound better using it. At least that's my impression at this point. So, Lampifier mics, check them out at lampifier.com. Again, this particular one is the Model 111 Pro Concert Vocal Phantom-powered programmable microphone. I want to thank the guys at Lampifier for sending this to me. I contacted them just because I started reading about their mic. Was really intrigued as to whether or not that was something that would be translatable. You know, how can it be that drastically different than what else is on the market? And it is really a completely different approach to a handheld vocal mic that is very different than anything that you've used before. So I'd definitely give them a look. Check out the mic, see what you guys think for yourselves. I'm telling you, once you sing through it, you'll understand what I'm saying. And hopefully some of the previous work we did with the different spoken and singing takes purveys some of that to you, to give you an idea of what I'm saying. But yeah, lampifier.com, check them out. And get on the bandwagon. These are good things. They're going to be big eventually. So get on the ground floor. Thanks, guys.